the more we're willing to get out of the center of our own lives and put Jesus in the center instead. The more we're willing not to look at people and see how we could possibly get them to revolve around us, but look at people and see how we could possibly give our lives away to them, the more life we'll find. We believe in Jesus, but we struggle to trust him. We know God's enough, and yet we still keep chasing after all the stuff in this world that leaves us empty time and time again. We sing songs about surrender, and then we panic every time life feels like it's out of our control. And I think sometimes what happens is that we tell ourselves our failures in following Jesus, or maybe in a less heavy way, like our inconsistencies in following Jesus somehow disqualify us from being used by him to make a difference. But inconsistency doesn't disqualify us from being disciples. Because discipleship is about direction, not perfection. It's not about getting it all right all the time. It's not about eliminating all of our fears or all of our struggles to get inside that inner ring and to fake who we are. It's just about taking the next step of obedience that God has in front of us, and then the next one, and then the next one, until we are conformed into his image. You guys, God loves using messed up people to make a difference, which is good because that's the only people he's got to work with. My old mentor, who's actually coming to preach at Revision this summer, I'm really excited for that. But every time I'd sit in his office and lament, just that I was a trash pastor and I was failing at life, he would tell me again and again, Mike, God can draw a straight line with a crooked stick. He didn't tell me, hey, you're perfect, you got it all figured out. He's like, no, God can use you right in the middle of all your inconsistencies. And I actually have a poster in my office that reminds me of that every single day. It's a quote from Martin Luther, the great reformer and theologian. We are simul justus et peccator. We are at the same time justified. We are counted right before God. We are heirs to the kingdom of heaven while remaining in this shattered world, broken and dead in our sin. That's me. That's you. And so for any of us today who've ever been convinced that our inconsistencies eliminate our opportunity to make a difference for God in this world. For any of us today who relate to Nicodemus, who relate to Joseph, whoever said, man, yeah, I have hidden my faith in Jesus so I could stay in the inner ring. For any of us who have ever struggled with that tension between fear and faith, my hope is that we'll walk out remembering grace is not God's gift to us because of our goodness. Grace is God's refusal to banish us because of our brokenness. And my hope is that knowing that, living into that truth, that God's grace is built on God's love for us, will allow us to be so deeply transformed by the cross of Jesus Christ. To have the same thing happen in our souls and in our hearts that happened in Nicodemus' soul and in Joseph's heart, to be so transformed that instead of living lives where we ask the world to revolve around us, we begin to look for ways in which we can revolve around other people, where we can just get out of the middle of our own lives. And not ultimately so that we can have some sort of higher moral righteousness and be a part of a different inner circle and look down on all the sinners out there, but just so that we can begin walking in the direction of discipleship. Begin to become the people God created us to be. Because the truth of the matter is this: it is knit into the fabric of the universe. The only way we'll ever find the good life is to walk in the footsteps of a God who gave himself away. And if you struggle to believe that, if you think, I don't know how selflessness is going to bring me more joy than self-centeredness, think about your mom. It's Mother's Day. Think about your mom anyway. If she's still alive, be grateful that your mom is still alive. Call her, go out to lunch with her, do something nice. Because here's the deal on moms. And this is true even if you had a difficult relationship with your mom. And I know that's real for some of us in this room. Our moms were not the moms that they should have been. But not one of us is here, not one, without a mother who was willing to give up her body and her life for us. And most of them did that for longer than just 9 months. They did it for the decades that followed. And I bet if we took a straw poll of every mom in this room right now, they would do it again in a heartbeat because they found joy and they found life in giving their lives away and in revolving them around somebody else. And do you know why they find that? Because that's how we're built to find joy as human beings. It's who our God is, and we are created in his image. And so the more we're willing to like get out of the center of our own lives and put Jesus in the center instead. The more we're willing not to look at people and see how we could possibly get them to revolve around us, but look at people and see how we could possibly give our lives away to them, the more life we'll find. Jesus once said, if you lose your life for me, you'll find it.